here's a relationship myth. All right. Married men make more money than single men. Well, yeah, by order of degree, sure they do, because they have to. They have to make money. You know why? Because one precludes the other. If you don't make that money, if you're not making that money to sustain the family and the kids and the wife and everything else, guess what? You're not fucking married. It's really as simple as that. It's like basic fucking math, man. Of course they do. I love listening to that shit, like especially from tradcons these days. Oh, like Mark Driscoll. Men are like semi trailers, and they drive straighter when they have a full load in the back. You're not convincing anybody to get married with that analogy, Mark. Really. Because essentially what you're doing is you're saying, give up your freedom, give up your time, which is a very limited resource for most men. I was the reason I'm even like considering this lately is because I was just talking about because I've been doing the rework for the edits on this is the second edition of the first book of Irrational Male, and I've been going through some of the old essays and the old chapters on there, and I occasionally quote them on Twitter right now, and it's funny because these are like quotes I have had since like 2006. And I put them on Twitter in 2024, and people go, "Man, you're a fucking genius." Yeah, because you don't read what I say, and so I give it to you in a little bite-sized tweet, and then you're like, "Oh man, well that's really deep." Yeah, there's more of it in the fucking book if you read it. So I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm realizing that like I think it was a chapter on commitment, right? It's like, what should men, ethically, whatever, what should men have a commitment for? Should it be the concept of commitment? Like, I don't break my promises. I'm committed to commitment. Or do you have a commitment to yourself, to your own self-interests, right? Because there comes a point where like the commitment to the idea of commitment, it's like, this is just the moral and the ethical and the right thing to do, right? At what point does that become a hindrance, or at what point does that become a detriment to your commitment to yourself, to your own well-being, your own best interests? Because again, I'll quote Rich Cooper, right? We tell women do what's right for you, and we tell men do the right thing. Do the right thing is always sacrifice. It's always sacrificial. To be a quote unquote, to be a man is to create and to generate more resources than you can expend. To make more money, right? That's that women want a generous guy. Why? Because that guy is probably going to be able to afford the kids. He's going to be able to keep the lights on. He's going to be able to keep the heat on. He's going to have a roof over my head. So a guy, you want to know why we were talking about jealousy? You want to know why she mate guards that guy? Because she wants to keep the fucking heat on and the light on and the roof over the head, right? And the kids fed. That's women have more of an investment in long-term security than men do. Men have to generate the long-term security. So to be a man is to actually create more resources than you can expend, and then hopefully generate them. And then what happens then is like, once you do that, the expectation is that you will sacrifice that. You'll sacrifice your time. You will sacrifice your dreams. You will sacrifice your talents. You'll sacrifice, like, to be a man is also to be sacrificial. In fact, you can take that to its logical end game, which is Jesus Christ. A sacrifice, to be a martyr. So to be a man is to be sacrificial. To be a man is to like die to your own interests, to die to your own fucking, because you need to do it for your woman, right? And I will tell you right now, I put this tweet out, and people lost their fucking minds. I said, men do not owe women a better life. Oh my God. Are you just like, here, try this. I'll give this to you. Anybody in the chat, go on Twitter, put this one simple sentence. Men do not owe women a better life. Watch the fucking rage. Watch, and not just from women, from well-meaning trad cons, right? Oh, well, that's juvenile. You're just one. You're a Peter Pan boy. You're a kidult. No one accuses a woman who is in her late 20s, early 30s, who's still living at home. No one accuses her of being a kidult. We only accuse men who are in that spot. And by the way, there's more and more of them now, still living at home, still living with mom and dad. Don't say in the basement. They're not living in the basement, but more and more Gen Z, and I would say the problem about the last half of the millennials, they're living with mom and dad. They're living in the safe zone, right? And we only tell the guys, you're not living up. You need to do better. How come we don't tell the women that? I thought we were supposed to be fucking equal. I thought everything was supposed to be of, a gender parity. Then we need to tell women that they're being kidults too, and they're extending they want to extend their adolescence. Nobody says that to women. Oh, she's just, got out of college and she needs to find herself. She's on her journey of self-discovery still at like 28 years old. That we can excuse it with that because we don't expect that much. But women don't have a burden of performance. Men do. That's why we shame them for being at home at 30. I get it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I get it. But let's call it what it is. Women don't have that. Don't have to worry about that. Or let's put it this way: it's a luxury. It's an option for women. It's not rarely is it an option for men. If the guy's disabled, maybe it's an option for him. But we could say the same thing. Yeah, you're right. The women aren't living up. You're not living up to societal expectations. Why? Because you don't have a job and you don't have a kid and so what do we say? It's funny is like when we say that whenever it even gets mentioned about women, they'll go, it's this culture of marriage. Single women are more happy than married women. You never fucking hear that about men. In fact, they'll say that. In fact, that's one of the selling points of the Tracons. Well, married men are statistically happier than single men. Like, first of all, what's the metric for that? My opinion on quote unquote long-term, sustainable, ultimate outcome happiness, which is bullshit. So the metric is flawed to begin with, but even still, the comparison is what I'm talking about here. It's like, why do we write article after article, see see videos like we did of the girls in the beginning here, saying that single women are happier. We don't need a man. We want a man. We don't need them. We can take care of ourselves. In fact, we do it better because we don't put the towel over the fucking door or drop our clothes. What's funny is like, I've seen the memes, right? Where it's like, you look at a woman's like bathroom and it's just like this catastrophe of makeup and just like shit all over the fucking countertop, right? And of course the joke is she gets pissed off when you leave the toilet seat up. I'm sorry, but a lot of the chicks, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're done. Ban this guy, please. I don't care about your stupid fucking comments on. There you go. Please keep that. Take that shit back to fucking. It'll be appreciated. Take that to fucking Rumble. Go. You save that one for Rumble, dude. And don't bring that shit here. But just the idea that like women are somehow inherently more cleanly than guys. I don't know if I'm saying guys are generally more cleanly, but yeah, piss in the sink. Yeah, exactly. But like if you see the average woman's like bathroom arrangement, what? You're worried about a towel over the door? I'm worried about dysentery coming off the fucking countertop here. But yeah, and so when we have those, when we look at like relationships as some sort of like cure-all for the modern man, I think what's funny is like we're still trying to pitch relationships and marriage on guys, and we don't try to pitch it on women. They're the ones that are deciding whether you're going to get married or not. I fundamentally disagree with this idea that like women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of commitment. Men aren't. Clearly they aren't, because if they were, the marriage rate will be much higher than it actually is right now. No, women control both of those things right now. And the reason they do is because they're more financially in control. They've been empowered, right? Everybody wants to talk about that shit. It's why men are superfluous. Nice to have around, but not absolutely necessary. Dr. Phil, thank you very much. And we don't need guys. We want guys. Well, we want guys they want guys to fuck them. They want the hot guy in the foam cannon party to come around and give them and leave. But they don't need guys. Men are just superfluous. At least by all messaging, all narratives today. That's essentially what I see constantly.